Hey there, Aaron Wills again, coming to you with another reaction video. I started this on Monday, the 9th day of September in 2024 at 8:05 p.m. Along with welcoming you to my channel, allow me to thank you for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe before sharing this video and turning the post notification bell on. It would be much appreciated. Here we go. YouTube.com. I don't know what I want to do this time. I want to react to another Generosity video. I just did that. But maybe another Generosity video. I put in Generosity top tropes and it brought up a pretty good video. I don't know what I'll do this time. Maybe I'll watch a Kitchen Nightmares episode. And let me say ahead of time, forgive me for all the sniffles that you'll hear, because I got some sinuses going on. A whole lot of sinus going on. I think I say that same thing every time I say sinus. What do we have? They said roll up and kicked. What? Let's see what that said. Let's watch this sovereign citizen movement. That's my new favorite thing. I'll watch this, I guess. That's our new favorite videos to watch. These sovereign citizens videos.
Ascension WoW is a standalone World of Warcraft private server that reimagines WoW in a brand new way. Instead of choosing a classic character select, you'll instead take...
When I say no nonsense, I mean a little something like this.
Mr. Thompson?
You're now the attorney in fact for the state name.
No, sir, Mr. Thompson. You know I don't put up with any of that. You understand?
Right.
Listen to me.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
You understand I'm not going to put up with that?
Yes, sir.
Not anything like that. You understand? Do you understand me?
Yes.
There's not going to be any private citizen, sovereign citizen, any of that. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
His name is Judge Brantley Clark, and he ain't fucking around. Now we have four different appearances to cover by Judge Clark, so let's begin.
You're before the court today for your affidavit of violation of probation. You filed a bunch of stuff that doesn't make any sense. I've denied most of it. I'm going to probably deny the rest of it.
Really?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Absolutely.
I got some education to go, huh?
Sir?
So I've got some education to go.
Yes, sir. You're here today if I get a new law violation of driving my license suspended and revoked. You don't want to have an attorney appointed to represent you?
No, sir.
You sure?
But that's the thing is, I've never even been pulled over. I don't know how I got a license or a warrant or anything. Haven't been pulled over in more than a year. Any emergency contact. I went to go pick up a records request, and they gave me a warrant instead of the records.
Do y'all know anything about this?
As to the new law.
Do you have a driver's license?
That's
Don't answer that. I shouldn't ask that question.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Strike that from the record. I won't do that if you won't do any other mess. I won't ask you that question.
Judge Clark almost messed up big there, as he nearly asked the defendant to admit that he drove without a license on the record. Now, had he admitted it, and had that statement been used against him, then this idiot may have had grounds to have any conviction against him thrown out.
Okay. You transfer that to the judge?
Just filed. I just filed in the court file.
I tried to, and they wouldn't accept it.
All right. Was he arrested? Is there a new arrest for driving license suspended or revoked? State?
Yes, there was a bench warrant issued on 1/23/24 that executed 1/29/24.
thought I was just doing a records request and had an agreed upon date to pick it up. Went up there to pick it up and gave me a warrant. So the records are requested.
I tell you what, I'm gonna let y'all
Return
do
that?
that. Listen, I'm gonna leave him on probation. I'm gonna set this for preliminary on April. What's that April date? April 17th. I'm gonna let him take care of that in county court and see what happens. Okay?
Thank you.
And I think that's the only violation he had.
Yes, sir.
Keep doing what you're doing on this, and then we'll see you back in April, and you can take care of that in county court.
All
Okay?
right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Sign a notice.
So in this case, what appears to have occurred is that this idiot drove to the records office to pull some paperwork, and they noticed that he drove without a license and issued him a citation at a later date. And that charge is grounds for a probation violation. But Judge Clark is allowing him to take care of his matters in county court before deciding whether to sanction him with either jail time or outright probation revocation. The next case is just an arraignment, so it's short, but it's pretty wild.
State your name, sir.
The beneficiary, said Alexander, a human being.
Mr. Alexander, I don't accept any of that. If you want to state your name, state your name. If you don't, that's fine.
I'm Cedric Alexander, the beneficiary, sir.
No, sir, I don't. The beneficiary doesn't mean anything to me. Says, are you Cedric Alexander?
I'm a human being, Cedric Alexander, not the corporation.
What don't be held with that?
I'm a human being, not a fictitious entity.
On your first appearance, I'm going to appoint the officer of public defender. You've got a failure to appear on a misdemeanors. I have ordered to be held without bond on that. I'm going to leave that as it is. You got a possession of methamphetamine and see, that might be all the same thing. Yeah, you just got a failure to appear.
The officer didn't even come and do
You'll be
depositions
held
because there's a
without
lot.
bond on that. You got to drive my license, suspended or vote. I'm gonna find there's probable cause. I'm gonna set. That's a third degree felony, punishable for 5 years. Florida Department of Corrections on a $5,000. I am going to set a $5,000 bond. I'll see you March 11th at 9 o'clock. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
All right, go ahead and step out for me.
I love it. Short and sweet. If he doesn't want to identify, then throw him in jail. And if he does identify, then keep him in jail for violating his probation. Now the next two hearings are quite a bit longer. First, we appear to have a probable cause hearing, where a sovereign citizen LARPs as his own lawyer and fails miserably.
Preliminary adversarial hearing, you're representing yourself. You know, at any point in time, you can ask an attorney to be appointed to represent you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you still wish to represent yourself?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. You call your first witness.
The state calls officer Zip. Richard Zip.
All right. Just swear the witness in.
I do.
You state your name for the record, please.
Richard Ziff,
Where are you employed?
Panel City Police Department.
Were you working in November of 2023?
I was.
On November 11th, 2023, did you have occasion to come in contact with Defendant Josiah Beecham?
I was.
How did you come to come in contact with him?
It was an investigated stop. Mr. Beecham's vehicle was having a hard time maintaining its lane. I conducted a traffic stop on the vehicle. Vehicle drove over the curb. Immediately when I stopped the vehicle, I could smell marijuana coming from within the vehicle while still sitting inside my own vehicle. As I got closer to the vehicle, I could smell the marijuana getting stronger. When I made contact with Mr. Beecham in the driver's seat, I informed him the nature of the stop, also told him I smelled marijuana in the vehicle. At that point, Mr. Beecham was saying I was violating the Treaty of Florida, making other statements that he was not driving, he was traveling.
You know, I thought I've heard all sovereign citizen arguments, but this one is a first. The Treaty of Florida, also known as the Adams-Onis Treaty, is an actual treaty, and it has to do with the secession of Spanish lands to the United States in 1819. It has nothing to do with a sovereign citizen's right to travel in his road canoe. And as far as traveling goes, I've watched hundreds of these traveler videos, and I've only seen one actual traveler. Me. 2 weeks ago, I was making fun of travelers in Dublin. Last week, I was making fun of travelers in Amsterdam. This week, I'm making fun of travelers in Prague. Next week, it'll be Vienna. And finally, I'll be traveling to Madrid to make fun of travelers. And none of it would have been possible without today's sponsor, Extra. Now, if you've been watching the channel for a while, then you will have already heard me mention the Extra brand, especially their smart wallets. But I'm not here to actually talk about their trackable wallets. No, Because when I told them that I was going to be making another trip to Europe, they insisted on sending me their new travel duffel bag backpack. It's a special travel pack that can be carried like a duffel or worn like a backpack. It's TSA approved for carry-on, so you don't have to worry about airport employees accidentally sending your bag on a random trip to Morocco. Now don't get me wrong, it's actually big enough to stuff a malnutrition Moorish American in it and send his ass back to the country he claims to be from. It even has a special compartment for all his travel documents, like his ID, his passport, and his fee schedule. Seriously though, on screen you can see the unpacking of my old bag and the repacking into my new extra travel duffel bag backpack. And just look at all that extra space. There's so much room for activities. So follow the link in the description to my partner site and enter code SKEPTIC at checkout to get an
What activities? What's he talking about?
additional discount on top of my partner price. So thank you Extra for sponsoring this video. And now it's time to get back to our regularly scheduled paint consumption.
And at one point, I asked him to identify himself. He refused to identify himself. He began to call 911 and requested a Bay County deputy respond to the scene because he refused to cooperate with me.
Officer Zip, at some point, based on the smell of marijuana, did you search the vehicle and Mr. Beecham's person?
I did.
During that search, did you locate anything of note, of significance?
We found trafficking amounts of controlled substances. I believe we were, one of them tested positive for cocaine. There was marijuana, and we believe fentanyl.
Did you find any firearms during the search?
There was a firearm located underneath the driver's seat that Mr. Beecham was sitting on.
I think you mean it was under the travel pad that he was resting his brain on. But now, I think it's time we let this beautiful mind out of its cage so that it can fly straight into a steel fan.
Did you run a criminal records check on Mr. Beecham?
We did.
Did you find out whether he had been previously convicted of any felonies?
He was on inmate release status for a felony. I believe the same charges.
That's all my questions this time.
Mr. Beecham, any questions?
Yes. So, did I have a passenger in the car with me at the time?
You did?
Upon you saying you smelled the smell of marijuana, did I say that I smoked hemp?
You did admit to it.
I said I smoked hemp, right?
You said you smoked marijuana.
Sir, did you have on a body cam?
I did.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. So your body cam was on at the time, and did you get any competent basis on the traffic stop as far as like a recording of that video?
I don't have a dash cam.
You don't have a dash cam in your car?
We don't have dash cams in Panama City police cars.
It's cool. And I was failing to maintain the lane. Okay, was it any other traffic on the road?
You were the only vehicle.
Okay, and how long were you behind me before you actually pulled me over?
I was behind you about 2 blocks. Watched you drift over the center line several times.
Several times, drift off the line. Did you have to catch up to me? Your Honor, I have a dash cam and rear view cam. I'm probably gonna introduce the Did you actually have to catch up to my vehicle, or?
I did not have to catch up that much. I was right behind you.
I'm saying that the stretch of the road was we was traveling on Beach Drive. That's right.
Yes.
And you were behind me the entire stretch of Beach Drive?
No, I was behind.
What the fuck's he talking about?
Behind you by Balboa.
By Balboa is when you got behind me. Okay, and so when did you notify me or the passenger about any of the drugs or gun?
Immediately.
Immediately? And what was said about the drugs or gun? What did the passenger say?
The gun was found after you were already detained. We searched the vehicle and it was underneath your seat.
Okay, and was the vehicle registered to me?
The vehicle was registered to your girlfriend.
Okay. And so, where were the drugs or anything found in the vehicle?
You had drugs in your pocket. And there's also drugs in the back seat behind your seat.
That's what I'm saying around there. The car was
You found the drugs?
registered to.
I found a bag of white substance in your fright.
The car was registered to my girlfriend, and so was my pants. My pants were registered to my girlfriend as well. So when they found coke in my pants, it's because it was my girlfriend's pants.
Front pocket.
What about any vehicles in the car?
There was a bag in behind the driver's seat that had several other bags that were wrapped in a clear plastic baggies that was behind your seat.
Okay, and so what did you question the passenger on?
That would be my partners who questioned the passenger. I questioned you.
Yes, and what did I admit to any of the drugs?
You refused to talk to me other than saying I was violating the Treaty of Florida.
Exactly. And so you notified me on drugs being found in the car on the scene, you're saying?
Everything was notified to you. I tried reading you implied consent. You refused to actually listen to me. You kept on saying I was violating the Treaty of Florida and you.
Yeah, I was saying you was violating constitutional rights as well of unreasonable search and seizure.
What's crazy about this is he has enough brain cells to say all the words correctly. He just appears to not have enough neurons to make it all make sense. What I mean to say is that he's intelligent enough to claim that his Fourth Amendment was violated, just not intelligent enough to explain how it was violated.
Because I never really got a direct quote on why you actually stopped the vehicle.
It's all in body came out.
Okay. And so you never had a conversation with the passenger?
I was mostly talking to you and searching the vehicle. I believe my sergeants wanted to talk to Mr. Wheeler.
Okay, and so you saying your passengers, your other one of your partners found the drugs that was actually in the car?
And I found drugs in the vehicle.
Oh, you found the drugs in the vehicle?
Yes.
Behind the driver's seat, you're saying?
Sustain the objection. Ask your next question.
Okay. And you did already admit that I said I admitted to smoking hemp. Okay, and your vehicle is not, you say they don't got dash cams?
Sounds like he's smoking hemp right now, or just got done smoking hemp right now.
Okay, so at the time, did you have a sight on the passenger and the driver at the whole time?
I was right there behind the A pillar, or B pillar.
What was that, sir?
I was there the entire time talking to you.
No, okay, so when you extracted me out the car, did you have eyes on the passenger at that time?
After I removed you from the car, I did not have eyes on the passenger, just you.
Okay, cool. And so in your report, you never wrote a ticket for the failing to maintain lanes, nor did you mention it in your affidavit of complaint.
It's going to be in my report, the narrative on the case.
Well, this was the probable cause, and this was the immediate review. So is it?
Sustained. Ask a question.
Okay. Is it a reason why you didn't mention it in your affidavit of complaint?
The affidavit only shows PC for why we arrested you. It doesn't state in there why I had to stop you. It just shows in there why I arrested you. And in regards to you maintaining a lane, that goes back to the DUI, which does not go on the complaint. That goes on the traffic ticket.
Well, you never mentioned anything of that nature in the ticket, so I was just wondering, is that protocol for you not to explain in the affidavit of complaint?
It's going to be in the report.
Okay, and you say you had a body camera on again, that's correct.
What do you want me to do?
That's sustain the objection. Ask your next question.
Okay,
Hang on.
and so was it possible for any of the drugs to be the passenger?
Yep.
It was all in your
Except
control.
for the sweetener.
In your reach, behind your seat, and then you had drugs in your right front pocket.
Don't come over here yet. I'm making a video.
I said, was it possible to be the passenger?
It could be possible, but the same drug that was in your right front pocket was also in that bag behind your seat.
What drug was in my right front pocket?
Cocaine.
And about how much was that?
A bag that was wrapped in your front pocket.
About how much?
I don't have the numbers on me right now. I have my report in front of me.
Okay. This is a copy of your report.
That's actually not my report. That's the affidavit complaint. My report's about 5 pages long.
Okay. And so you seized the vehicle for failing to maintain a lane. You said, was any other traffic affected by the occurrence?
You were the only one on the road. You had a failure to maintain your lane several times and you drove over the curb.
What curve, actually?
The curb I stopped you at. I believe it was on Fairland.
Okay. Beyond at this time, I don't have any more questions.
Okay. Is any redirect from the state?
No, Your Honor.
And the witness be excused.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you can go about your day.
Yes, sir.
Anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Beecham?
Your Honor, there's no actual competent and substantial evidence in the affidavit or complaint, nor was it any ticket issued for the actual, failing to maintain a lane. So, being that it was immediately after the arrest, I don't see how he had probable cause to stop me. And I actually asked him for, the sheriffs to verify that, hoping that he had a dash cam in his car.
Sullivan?
Whether a traffic ticket was issued or not is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Well, I have going to find there's probable cause for the arrest, and I believe that's what I'm here today to do as far as the adversarial preliminary hearing. So I found there's probable cause. We'll need another court hearing.
Do we have this transcribed?
You can file a motion to have it transcribed, yes, sir. We need to set another hearing. You understand, Mr. Beecham, at any point in time that you ask for an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you meet the financial requirements. You want to set up for another pretrial? Beecham? Let's set it for April 18th at 9 o'clock.
All right, so that's the end of the third video. Judge Clark found probable cause as he should, and the next time that we'll be seeing this soft-tard will be in mid-April. So now we're going to move on to the fourth trial, which is a 3-day trial, and opens up with the defendant and his lawyer trying to explain why an illegal tag should be admitted. Now I give it to his lawyer. He makes a valiant effort, but he's dealing with Judge Clark, who's a brick shithouse when it comes to sovereign citizen arguments.
We're on the record. State of Florida versus Lee Forson Baker, case number 23 CF 3817. Mr. Baker's present in the courtroom, appropriately dressed, with Mr. Meredith and Mr. Paul. State Attorney Mr. Ferreira and Mr. Sullivan are also present. Deputy Dexter, we have all the jurors present.
They are present. They are. We had two that were in the restroom. They will be brought upstairs.
All right, very good. All right, anything we need to take up prior to bringing the jurors in?
Yes, Your Honor. After meeting with Mr. Baker yesterday, he expressed the interest in representing himself today again. So I don't know if he wants to. I'm not sure whether he wants to represent himself or not, because the second thing I would address is the state has filed a motion in limine that we object to, depending on the ruling there. I'm not sure if that will affect Mr. Baker's decision.
All right, well, let's take up the motion in limine right now. It's the motion in limine. Mr. Ferreira, you filed it?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is moving, Your Honor, to exclude testimony of two things. First is testimony of the legality of his license plate, or any sort. My understanding is that Mr. Meredith intended to elicit testimony about the origin of the license plate. We feel that probable cause is enough already with the rolling stop. That it would be irrelevant. The defendant is no longer in charge of any type of traffic offense. They're not legal defenses to the charge that he's brought with fleeing to eluding in the possession of drugs.
No coffee yet?
Your Honor, the state intends to introduce some body cam from Officer Elkins as in relation to the original stop. And Mr. Baker has his hands out of the window and is talking to the officer about what the reason for the stop is. There is a tag that's on there in the edited version of the body cam. It is mentioned that the two reasons for the stop were going through a stop sign and either, I can't remember if it was bad tag or no tag or whatever. But I think that it's important for the jury to understand the origin of this tag, what it represented. I, as an officer of the court and under the rules of the bar, I don't believe I could argue that it is a valid a tag, but I think the origin of it is important for the.
It's not a valid tag. What does it matter? What origin? Or the origin of it?
Well,
I'm not going down that road,
Mr. Baker felt that it was a legal tag.
Was it issued from the Department of Motor Vehicles from the state of Florida?
It was not.
Or the tax collector's office? It's not a legal tag.
If you'd like to see a photocopy of what it is,
it's a tag. Yeah, my tag is from the DOT. It's a DOT number because my tag belongs to my trust. My DOT number is valid, so why wouldn't the tag?
Nope, not going in.
What's the DOT?
We're not going to talk about it.
Can I put anything on the record?
You can put it on the record, but I'm telling you, I'm not anything that's not a legal tag from the state of from one of the states of the United States, or I guess
it is. You got the information yesterday. He emailed you the information where the tag came from and what was going on with the tag.
Your Honor,
I can't have a custom tag.
Let Mr. Meredith make your argument, sir, please.
Your Honor, the number that's contained on the tag, the 412-5492, is a Department of Transportation number that is assigned to Mr. Baker. I have gone on their website. You can search that number, and when you do, it comes up with Mr. Baker's name, his address, and all his information. Now, depending on what we're allowed to, his testimony would be how he obtained this and had gone through and got it from a third party in New Jersey. And because it had the Department of Transportation logo, which is the actual logo from the Department of Transportation, and it had his actual identifying number from the United States Department of Transportation, that you could display it.
Is it a legal valid tag? Can you make that argument?
Yes. I cannot.
Okay, it's not coming in. We have to run the tag number. It's not coming in. It's not on the record. And also, the state's not charged him with a improper tag.
Exactly. I don't even have a ticket for anything that they pulled me over for.
You know, you would really benefit if you just let your lawyer do all the talking, because the judge and prosecutor are about to make a really good point. Because even if the court was to accept the DOT designation on his property as meaning that he doesn't have to have a driver's license to drive his car, it still doesn't explain why he's in possession of a trafficable amount of narcotics.
Exactly, that's not what you're going to trial for. All right, Mr. Meredith and Mr. Pereira. Anything else on that, Mr. Meredith?
I think that's paragraph 1. There's a second paragraph.
Right.
You know, there's a second paragraph on there. The state is looking to exclude any testimony in terms of defenses related to the defendant's status as a sovereign and or a private citizen. I'd like to point the court to controlling authority in Barber versus Bay County Sheriff's Office jail facility. For the record, the site of that is 308 3rd Southern. It starts on page 254. I like to quote from this case, Your Honor, that says the sovereign citizen theory has no basis in the law, and parties that make it are in danger of court sanctions. And parties that, to our knowledge, no court in this country has ever found sovereign citizens to have any merit. They're relying on the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals decision in the United States versus Beneby. For the record, that's 654, 3rd Federal, 753, where it talks about where it's just not specifically about sovereign citizens, but encapsulates all of the arguments there. So regardless of an individual's claimed status of descent, be it as a sovereign citizen, a secured party creditor, or a flesh and blood human being, that person is not beyond the jurisdiction, and the court is correct in rejecting all of those claims. However, they are presented and they should be rejected summarily.
Mr. Barrett, your response? We're not raising it as a defense, but I believe that Mr. Baker testifies for the jury to understand what was in his mind on October 7th of this past year. They need to understand his ideology, his understanding of what he was required to do and how he could live his life. It's not, again, I cannot raise it to a defense, but I think we need to talk about what he felt in his mind.
If it's not a defense, why is it relevant?
For the jury to understand what was going on in his mind during the stop and
proper what you think the testimony might be.
It goes back partially to the tag, but he had thought he had registered the tag.
He thought he had the tag registered, so he thought he had the right to have coke and weed in the car and on his person because the tag was registered, right?
Properly through the United States Department of Transportation.
Mr. Baker, that's enough.
He had a license that wasn't from the state of Florida. It was.
That's what DOT is, Department of Transportation.
International license, but his license was suspended in the state of Florida. But when he was stopped, again, he was trying to ask the officer what was the purpose for the stop. The officer, immediately upon exiting his vehicle, prior to any fleeing, unholstered his service weapon, pointed it at the defendant, and began yelling at him to turn the car off, and after 30 to 40 seconds, fearing for his life, Mr. Baker left.
What does that have to do with being a private citizen or a sovereign citizen or anything like that?
In his mind, the basis of the state is now going forward on it as he rode through a stop sign, which we dispute. But he does not think that he did not stop, and he was trying to ask the reason for the stop, and he didn't get any answer. He just got a gun being pointed at him with an aggressive officer.
I mean, I understand all that, and I think all that may be relevant to that. I mean, you make but what about a private citizen or a sovereign citizen? What does that have any relevance?
Well, he doesn't consider himself a sovereign citizen.
A private citizen.
It's just his mindset as to why he would act in the manner that he did, and the subsequent actions that he took to get out of what he perceived as danger.
But I understand that. I mean, I don't know that that's not irrelevant. I mean, I don't know that I say that might be relevant. But what about the private citizen and that's the issue right now, according to the state.
If we couch it.
His lawyer sounds like a pretty strong lawyer, but he just has He's just fighting an uphill battle. He has no case. He sounds like he's somebody I would want to defend me if I had a fair shot at winning, but he just has no case. He has no leg to stand on, or whatever they say.
In terms of his fear, without saying sovereign citizen, private citizen, I think that's fair.
Is there any objection to that? I mean, if he testifies that the gun was pulled and he was in fear, I mean, that would. I don't know why the jury couldn't consider that, but as far as private citizen or any other caps, I'm not allowing any of that in. I don't think it's relevant.
Well, and we weren't using that as a defense, just for.
I understand, but I'm not. We're not going down that road at all. But now, if there's testimony that what you've couched, I mean, I think that is relevant.
And I understand the court's ruling.
How does him being scared after the stop make weed and cocaine suddenly appear in his car and on his person? How does him being scared at that point go back and make it appear? He didn't travel in time because he was afraid. He didn't go back in time.
I'm concerned that my client being able to abide by those and being able to control his answers.
Okay. Well, let me just say that if when there's an objection made, that I will come sidebar a couple times, and then if I have to, it'll be in front of the juror, my rulings and why my rulings are what they are. Speaks to microphone, you can speak directly into the microphone, and Mr. Meredith, you may inquire whenever you're ready.
Mr. Baker, if you would tell the jury your full name.
Lee Baker. Lee Forzon Baker.
You're a junior?
Yes.
Now, where in Bay County do you live?
Lynn Haven.
Now, how many felony convictions do you have?
8.
I want to direct your attention back to October 7th of this past year. Did you see Miss Ivy?
Yes.
And who is she to you?
Just someone I'm intimate with.
And how long have you known her?
About 2.5 years.
Is it routine for you to see each other and go places together?
It's time for me to go to bed.